Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to flip number 42, I believe. And this day here was Allie's 5 on Friday. And as you can see, it's not finished. I know. I don't know. I'm kind of petering out toward the year's end. I don't know. But yeah, some of it was to put a Santa on and use red, green, and gold. So I used some wrapping paper that we had, and I love traditional Christmas colors. So that was just this for this page. This day here, I think we'd finally gone down to the Keys. Yep, we finally made it down south to the Hideaway. It had been like 5 weeks because my husband had been working a lot of overtime and working weekends and stuff like that. So, I mean, we weren't feeling all that great, but it was nice to get a change of scenery. So, on, excuse me, on Saturday I worked on this and I used my Zig clean color markers, I believe, to color this in. And it was an image that I found on one of Miss Danny B's Pinterest boards. And yeah, she has great Pinterest boards for everything. So check her out on Pinterest if you do that. And also check out her channel. She is Daniel Batog. I hope I pronounced that right. And on here on YouTube, and she has great videos and all the things that she's doing. She's so creative. And then this day here, like, I don't know, I was working on a lot of different pages all at one time and all in different, stages of completion. And so some are colored, some aren't. And so anyway, that's just my life right now. So here is the letter at prompt. And then we had more traditions down here. So one of our traditions on Christmas morning is to, of course, read the account of Jesus's birth. And usually, we pick turns, or the kids, one of the kids reads the account of Jesus's birth, and we usually read it from the book of Luke. So another tradition that we have, or we used to have, now that the kids are older, it's a little different, but I think we've done it up until just last year maybe, is an old Norwegian tradition, which one of my grandfathers was Norwegian, and he taught me how to count from 1 to 10 in Norwegian when I was really little, and I can still remember how to count to this day. And no, I'm not going to do it for you on here. But I taught my daughter as well, and so, it's just funny, the things we remember from from a young age. But anyhow, the Norwegian Christmas gift-giving tradition, I believe it's Norwegian. A girlfriend of mine had told me about it years ago, and it is where you give 4 gifts, okay? And it's always something you want, something you need, something to play with, and something to read. And so we kind of adopted this tradition a number of years ago because it just got to be crazy, when you have, especially when you have little kids and, how many toys can they play with at once? And, you could always give socks and underwear and stuff like that, but this way they get 4 things and they really have to think about what they want, or what they need. And I just really liked also that they got something to read. So I love that. I really do. And I love doing it when they were younger. And then this here, A Thrill of Hope, the weary world rejoices. That is possibly my favorite holiday song, O Holy Night. And so that was the letter at prompt. And then I had found this book in the library down here and decided just to, put a page of it in because I liked it. And so that's what I did for that page. And then this is one of my pages that wasn't exactly finished. So here's another page from that book that I found, and people singing because, what are they called? Carolers. because the letter at prompt was the best way to spread Christmas cheer is to sing for all to hear. And then the drawing prompt that day was a snowflake, so I decided to go back on to Fun to Draw on YouTube and draw this cute little kawaii snowflake, which I neglected to color in. And then on this page here was Silent Night, Holy Night was the letter at prompt. And then this right here I had showed in a previous video. It was a like an advertisement that I got in the mail, and so I just added, the little strands of lights onto it and colored it in a little bit, because one of our traditions, again with the family traditions, is going Christmas lighting, and so that's what we do. When I was younger, though, one of my favorite traditions as a child was going up to my grandmother's house, and my family would gather together. It was my dad's side of the family, and we basically only saw them like once a year. And so, yeah, we'd go up there and we'd play with our cousins and exchange gifts, and my grandmother would always give me a really like scratchy flannel nightgown, but I did love wearing them even though they were scratchy. But that's one of my favorite memories, is always getting a nightgown from her, and I'd wear it that evening to bed. And also I loved, the food. Like we'd have all bunch of, snacky food and stuff like that. And one of my favorite things was her liver pate. I looked forward to that every year. I loved it. And a pound cake that she used to make as well. And I have that recipe, so I make the pound cake now. And yeah, and then I remember, on the ride home with my family, my mom and my dad and my two brothers and sister, and we'd all ride home, and it was about like over an hour trip. And so we'd listen to Christmas music and we'd look at all the pretty lights, and then when we'd get home, I remember cracking my window to make sure that I could hear Santa's sleigh, which I never did, but only because I fell asleep before he came. So yeah, Santa delivered presents to my house until I got married and left my house. So yeah, Santa still visited our home even when I was 21 years old. So yeah, the fun memories. And then on this day here, everybody was on Christmas vacation finally. I mean, not my husband, he was still at work, but my kids were on their Christmas vacation from school, so we were happy about that. And we were awaiting the final grades, and the kids did really well. My beauty queen got straight A's again. I still haven't figured out what my son's grades were. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, we were really proud of her. She was proud of herself. She worked really hard for those grades. And then that day I just thought it was kind of funny because I had to go to the bank, which is down the street from my house, and right next to it I had to go to the gas station. And on the gas stations here where I live in South Florida, and I said this on one of my rambling sessions, our gas stations have like cafeterias attached to them, like little, they're not restaurants, they're like cafeterias. I don't know how else to say it. They just like make the food there. I don't know. And anyway, we have like a lot of them have Cuban food in them, and they're so good. So yeah, we love all the ethnic food, and our favorites are Cuban and Mexican food. Because we live in a very multicultural area where I live, and a lot of the culture is Latin. So we have a lot of Cuban and Mexican places here, and I love that food. And then this is a picture of the quilt that my daughter made for her boyfriend, and it came out so super cute. And yeah, so I'd been helping her make that. We'd worked on it about a week or so, I think, and got it all done. And I was thankful to my husband's aunt for teaching me how to quilt many years ago. I had spent a summer up in New York while my husband was working for that summer, and it was before we had kids. And that summer she taught me how to quilt, and I made like 7 quilts that year and gave all of them away but one. So I still have one that I made. And I would machine quilt them. And then when my kids were little, I made their baby blankets and I did hand quilt a little crib quilt for my son. But I haven't quilted in a long time, so I do enjoy it. I don't know, I just don't find the time for it. But that was fun helping her make that, and it came out super cute. And then this was just Destination Key Largo. I think Destination was a prompt of something. I can't remember what it was. It could have been Yukari's art prompt, maybe. But I saw this in the library down here, and I just thought it was so pretty and vibrant, so I had to cut it out and paste it in for that page. Oh, it must have been a 5 on Friday too, but I didn't do the 5 on Friday because I found this picture and I just loved it so much. And then on this day here, whoops, sorry about the glare. Yeah, we were having kind of a rough day. We were still down in the Keys. And yeah, so I had a couch collage day. That's what we did. I just collaged and my husband was on the couch and we were just watching stuff together while I worked at the bar, in the kitchen and just worked on the collage here. And then this is another picture from Danny B's Pinterest board that I had printed out and colored in with gel pens and colored pencils and my zig markers. So that was fun. And we did some last minute shopping. So now that Christmas is over, I can say it. I had finally convinced Big Handsome to warp us into the 21st century and get smartphones. Because my kids, they're out on their own a lot more now. Of course, they're, adults. My son is nearing adulthood. He'll be 18 in a few months. And I need to be able to be in contact with them. And my son never had a phone. My daughter had, a flip phone and I had a flip phone, but it was just really hard. Like I would try to call her and she was in class or, whatever. And I just couldn't get in contact with her. And of course, with all of our health issues, we need to be able to be in contact with one another. And so anyhow, that was a story about that. And so we had gone and ordered them that day. And so I know that I'm going to feel much better being able to be in contact with them when I need to. And then this day here is more collage work, and I just wrote a little, we weren't feeling well again. Like, that's our life story now. And so I had cut out some of these from a magazine at home and brought them down with me. And, super cute little cozy here on a teapot. It's funny because here, I don't know about some Americans, but we don't really do the whole hot tea thing. Some people might, but I have recently gotten into the habit of in the evenings, I either make peppermint tea or I make sleepy time tea because I have a hard time falling asleep. And so I am loving the peppermint tea, and I try to make a cup every night, and I love milk in it and a little bit of sugar, and I'm good to go. And no caffeine, so it doesn't keep me up. And then here's just like a picture of crackers. They do those in Britain, but they do sell them here. Why, I don't know, because it's not an American tradition. But yeah, so I just thought those were pretty, so I put those in there. And then this day here, Tuesday, we were still down in the Keys, and it was just raining, raining, raining. And so what better way to spend a rainy day than to go to the movies? So we went and saw the Star Wars movie. My son had already seen it with his youth pastor, and so we decided to go out and see it. And of course, he was more than willing to watch it again. So it was good. We had a good time. I don't think Big Handsome nor I have been to a movie in almost 5 years, because the last one that we went to together as a family was the Harry Potter, when the last Harry Potter came out. So yeah, that was a long time ago. And then here we are. Ta-da! I'm still working on pages. So yeah, I think I'll just stop here, and then hopefully I will get the rest of my pages finished. And see, this is what I mean. Like, I have them in varying stages of completion. So this one's all written out. I just have to go over it with pen, whatever. That all this is done and written out and I just have to go back in and color it in. This as well, I need to do my writing on it, and then these 2 days do my writing. And we're awaiting my father and his new girlfriend, a visit from them to spend the new year with us, and so that'll be great, and I hope we have fun together and feel well enough to do some things and have some fun. And so anywho, I'll leave you to it, and I'll thank you for sharing your time with me and listening to my ramblings, and I'll catch you on the next flip.